Hello, my name's Susie Johns. I teach art at a local college, and one of my most popular courses is called Learn to Draw. My students, I try and encourage them to draw with pencil, with pen and ink, charcoal, all sorts of things. In my experience, one of my students' favourite mediums is coloured pencil. I think part of the attraction is that coloured pencils are very seductive, a pack of beautiful colours. They're a dry medium, so they're quite clean and easy to use, and they just seem to appeal to lots of different people. I always encourage my students to buy the best materials they can afford, because cheap materials can be very disappointing. Coloured pencils are no exception. Having said that, I do know some of my students. I have one student in particular who's very, very good at coloured pencil drawing, and she swears by quite a sort of inexpensive brand. They seem to be her favourites. When I do coloured pencil drawing, I tend to use them for portraits and for still life subjects. Those are what I use them for most. And most recently, the two brands that I've been using most are these Castle coloured pencils, a set of 72 in a zip case. That I find them very good indeed. And more recently, I've started using these Arteza coloured pencils, and again 72 in a tin. And I think 72 is quite a good number to have, because for most subjects 72 gives you most of the colours you need, or all the colours you need. So I decided to treat myself to another set, and lots and lots of people had told me that Prismacolor were a really good choice, and so I bought a set again of 72, because I do think 72 is a really good sort of optimum number of pencils to have. So here's my purchase, a tin of 72 Prismacolor Premier coloured pencils. It's an attractive tin and it seems quite robust. The lid removes completely, and underneath there are 3 trays, each containing 24 pencils. They seem to be in quite a sort of random colour order, I think. If I look at the base of the tin, the information it gives me is that they're softcore coloured pencils, artist quality, with high quality pigments. It doesn't actually say they're wax based, but they are. They're made in Mexico and the tin's made in China. And there's the colours, just with the colour numbers, but not the colour names, but the names appear on each pencil. This set was more expensive than the Castle pencils, but less expensive than Arteza. Whenever I buy a set of coloured pencils, I do like to make myself a colour chart. So this is the one that I've got for the Castle coloured pencils. And what a colour chart does, it's sort of a really handy reference. So when you sit down to do a drawing, you can pick out the colours that you think you'll need by referring to your chart. A colour chart can be quite time consuming to do, but I think it's worth it, and it's also quite sort of meditative to do a chart, to sit down and colour in all the little squares. So, you know, I recommend it as a nice bit of art therapy for a rainy afternoon. So yes, so I decided that I would do a colour chart with my new Prismacolor pencils, and then I'll try them out on a little drawing. I think I'm going to draw a little picture of a pomegranate. So first comes the colour chart, 72 colours, so I'm going to draw a grid, 9 squares by 8 rows, 72 squares, and let's get started on that. I've reorganised the colours so they're now in numerical order. Prismacolor is actually available in 150 different colours. Each pencil is labelled with the name and the colour number, so if I put them in number order it's easy to see where I've got gaps. I've noticed that the points on the pencil are very short. You know, the way that they arrive is with these very, very short tips. I can't work with pencils like that, so I'm going to sharpen them. I'm going to see how they sharpen with a pencil sharpener. They seem to be okay. The wood doesn't sort of crack or anything. But my preferred method is to use a knife and to sharpen them like this with my thumb guiding the blade, so that I could get a good sort of length on the lead. And I can also ensure that it finishes with a really nice sharp point. So I'm going to get on with making the chart now, and I will sharpen each pencil as I come to it. I've drawn the chart on a piece of Bristol Vellum Paper, which is good for coloured pencils, and I've used a fine liner pen to do that. So now I've finished the colour chart, it's time to try out the pencils by doing drawing. Well, I have to say this was a good experience. The colours go down beautifully and they're very rich. You can layer one colour on top of another very easily and blend them and burnish them easily too. So all in all, I'm very pleased with my purchase and would highly recommend these pencils. I hope you've enjoyed this video and do consider subscribing to my channel by clicking on the button below. Thank you.